Okay, we're live. Sup, Siren Squad? I don't even have a mod right now because my mod's busy recovering from the beach for a minute.
Dogs.
Wrangling dogs, and I think he's probably trying to find some dry clothes. Oh, Tiki Bar audio is still off too. We want to do that. Okay, there we go. We got it. Can you guys say something so I can make sure you're coming through?
Testing.
Awesome sauce. Bargain, would you like to speak? No, I know you're coming through. You're fine. Okay, so anyways, you won't believe what happened. So we decided that we were just going to go. We have found that we kind of like evenings at the beach. Well, yesterday I went at like 3 o'clock in the morning and got to take Gunner off his leash and just run down there. We were the only car on the beach. It was so freaking crazy. So we decided to go down there today. IG hasn't gone down to the beach for a while. So we were like, we'll just go down and hang out for a minute and whatnot. I picked up some tea. Twisted tea, and went down just to have a little white cap nightcap. Okay, ban me from Discord. I'm sorry. Anyhow, so we got there or whatever, and I mean it's a little busier right now because it's summertime and whatever. So Logan wanted to go swimming, and we had Gunner with us, and Gunner does not like it. He thinks that the water is dangerous and that Logan should not be in it. Right? So I'm just double checking some things. Okay, good. So anyways, we turn around. Can you jump into mod? Awesome sauce. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. You're amazing. I love you. Anyhow. So we get there and whatever. And Logan brings out the chairs and he starts to go out to go swimming. When this gentleman is talking to him, and I can't hear anything because when you're like right in front of the waves and whatever, you're dealing with like, you know, like, so I can't hear this guy that's talking to Logan, but he's having this huge conversation with Logan. And Logan's just trying to bring us, he had apparently left Gunner's poop bag in his pocket and he didn't want it to get wet while he was swimming, you know, not with poop. It was an empty bag, just to be clear. But like, so he brought it back up because we don't want plastic going into the sea. We all know what that does. That really upsets me. And so anyhow, this nice gentleman asks me, because I go to take Gunner out, and he's like, let him off his leash. Will he listen to you? And I was like, maybe. We don't really know. It's not worth the risk with people out here, kind of thing. And he's like, my dog's been swimming for 2 hours, and he's just like making this small talk with me, right? I love the beach because these people are so happy and just cool, right? And so, anyways, he invites me to come and sit down with him. And I go over and I sit down with him and find out that he is a retired Vietnam vet who was disabled as a result of his service and came back from the he's completely deaf and completely deaf in one ear, partially deaf in the other, and he's got a Labradoodle that is his service dog because he can't hear like the doorbells and stuff in his house and whatever. But he can read my lips. So anyways, so he invites me to come and sit down with him and just starts talking with me and whatever. And is like commenting on Gunner and, you know, whatever. And it was just like the craziest, like this small talk. So, but we're just sitting there talking and he's asking me like these different questions. And I was explaining, you know, yeah, I went through like some crazy stuff. Because he asks, what do you do? And I was like, well, I used to be a victims advocate, a nationally certified victims advocate, but I have decided that, you know, in the end of the day, right now, I have found that people will only truly be able to help themselves. And so I said, I kind of take it a step back from that. And I don't really know what I'm going to do right this minute. I said, I've got my mixology, blah, 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 you know, talked about my different plans, told him I'm writing my story and whatever. But he just goes off and tells me like the coolest. Like, he's like, you know, he goes, so are you married? And I was like, divorced. I would say I was married for 24 years, but the trauma that we went through was just like, you know, too much. And I had to take care of myself. So I drove by a Jeep one day and I said, oh my God, I'm going to buy that Jeep and move to the coast. And here I am. And I don't really know what I'm doing and whatever. So he turns around and tells me this story about how he's raised his children and that he stayed married for about the same amount of time. I think he said it was like 20 years marriage or something, 20, 25 years, somewhere in there. And that he tried and realized at one point that he needed to just live his life for himself because he was married to a real bitch is what he told me. And I was like, okay, and he's there with his wife, his new wife, his grandson and whatever. But he just tells me, he's like, I gave everything. He goes, how old are you? And I was like, 40, I'm going to be 43 in just a couple days. And he was like, well, he goes, that's about the time I restarted my life. And he goes, and now I'm a millionaire. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. But he turns around and he's like, he just bought a ranch somewhere between here. It's like 70 miles north or whatever on the way to San Antonio. And so he's like halfway in between and he came down here. And so then, and I was like, wow, that's really living the dream and whatever. I said, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I got to figure out exactly what that is now because, it's been me like as a wife and as a mother. And I was like, and now it's time for me to like kind of do my own thing and take care of myself. And I told him, I said, I've had some serious mental health struggles, but I'm really proud of all of my accomplishments right now. I said, I finally gotten to a point where I, am way more solid. And I feel like going forward, like there's only the only thing, it can only get better from here. Like I told him about Nightstar and I was like, she kind of lost her way. And I was like, and I've encountered other people that I cared about, I said, but in the end, I was like, I realize that my experiences are far more important. And like having an experience allows me and affords me an ability to interact with individuals in a level where that I can offer them a level of understanding now because of my experiences. Some of the worst forms of, like just psychological crap that people can go through and why they are caused. And having an experience makes me not just have the scientific backing, but that it, allows me now to actually know. And I explained, like how it's been crazy that I don't see things in people and that, my over positivity. And I just talked a lot with him about like just like all the things that I've overcome and whatever. And he was doing the same, sharing with me and whatever. But then he turns around and he's like, yeah. And because he was commenting on Gunner really, really just wouldn't shut up. But he was so he goes, you should stay here for a little while with me. He's like, there's a turtle that for the last 2 hours just keeps swimming back and forth here in the bay. He's about 2 years old. And he's just been making his round about every 90 minutes or so. He's just kind of coming through the bay and swimming. And he's a really green one, too. And whatever. I was like, I look at him and I'm like, oh, how the heck do you know that this turtle is only 2 years old? Like, how do you know that? And he points down to his swim trunks and he's like, look, and they're sea turtles on his swim trunks, and I'm like, oh, okay, and he's like, truth. He's like, I am a volunteer he said, after I got back, I went to school and I became a marine biologist. I'm retired now, but I volunteer with the turtle squad is what they basically are. Okay. So they have this whole turtle thing down here because if you don't know this, it is illegal to touch or get near, any sea turtles under the Endangered Species Act. So if you encounter one or their nests or anything on the beach, you're supposed to call specific numbers. Well, because of the fact that they are endangered, a lot of times what they will do is they will, if there's any chance that the turtles are not going to make it, they go and they rehab them and then they release them back into the ocean. Okay. So he was just down here because last week they did a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle release. And he was telling me all about this. So anyways, just like we just went down to the beach and this guy, like, I don't know why, I don't know why he was just like, come sit with me and talk with me. And then tells me this story of how he's fought in a war. Because then that's kind of what led me to be like, yeah, I have PTSD. I was like, not, for the same things. I said my family suffered a traumatic event, and explained it to him and whatever. But he was like, and he's like, well, he's like, you got to live for yourself. And I was like, well, that's kind of what I'm learning how to do now, But it was just like the coolest interaction. I sat with this guy the whole time that we were out there. We didn't stay too long because we just went down for a whitecap nightcap. I'm going to tag that thing. That's going to be my new thing. I'm going to sell a t-shirt on Whitecap Beach that says here for a whitecap nightcap. But no, here's the point, is that as I was driving home and I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, you know what? We moved in here in February. That's 5 months. It's only 5 months. In 5 months, my goals have changed, but more than that is how much emotional control and regulation that I have acquired as in a lot of ways, I have forced myself to internalize, reflect, and grow and change because it will be for the better. And I know that, and I've known that. That doesn't make it easy though, okay? And it has been a real fight. But what I did realize is that you're never too old to start again. So he's been married to his current wife for like 8 years, and whatnot, and she's a retired nurse. I mean, it was just like really cool to see. He was like, like sometimes you just got to know when life's not where you want it and that it's your responsibility. I mean, it was like, okay, where is this coming from? Because it's literally what, Mel Robbins talks about in all her podcasts and whatever. And I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. So anyways, yeah. So we went down to the beach and I guess I wanted to go live and I wanted to talk about the story because what I really wanted to say is that, you know what, guys? If you're watching my podcast, you've seen I'm real, I'm authentic, and I'm transparent. And I am going to share the things I learn. And, some cases I'm going to hope that, maybe the self-reflection that other people can find the strength to do will allow them to feel as free as I am. But the biggest thing that ever holds us back in life is fear. We are afraid of being alone. We are afraid of being rejected. We are afraid we won't make it if we do a big change. We are afraid of all the change in the world that makes us afraid. But you're never too old to try to start over and do it again. And it can feel like, because that's one of the things that's been plaguing me a lot is just like, wow, I wasted so many years on all the wrong people because I am fixing to be 43 years old. And what do I have? Like, I have felt like I'm not sure if I can go out and socialize, but then I go to the beach and sit next to this complete stranger for like 40 minutes talking about the coolest shit in the world, okay, meeting his family, and then just dip and go on my merry way. But also, there is nobody that is put in our life that God hasn't placed there for something. And sometimes even our worst experiences are really, if they're not there to teach us who we don't want to be, they're there to shine a light on what is our internal struggles, okay? When people are able to actually emotionally afflict you, make you feel bad or, make you more self-conscious, what the real thing, or maybe they're just dicks. I mean, I don't know. But the real truth is that if they're getting under your skin, there's a lot of things to take away from that. If somebody has completely shattered your trust and you feel like you can't trust anyone, well, the best thing you can do then is turn around and educate yourself and figure out what it is that left you susceptible to that. And then you'll know how to recognize those behaviors. So when they present themselves, they no longer have that emotional weight on them. They don't afflict you. You'll find that you'll start switching your mentality to a point where even, let them. That's what I love about it. Let them think that they know what they're talking about. Let them, cast their, judgment. Let them do whatever, because what the real point of it is if something is getting to you emotionally, you should look in the mirror real quick and figure out why you're affected the way you are. Maybe it's because somebody's accused you of something and you don't believe it to be true, so you get defensive. Instead of taking a step back and wondering, well, maybe there's some merit to that and there's a way that I can, grow. I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of things about me, and it doesn't matter. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But those things don't define who I am. Somebody's opinion doesn't define who I am, and it's not going to affect me. But if it does affect me, the greatest gift I have gotten in these last 5 months is understanding that if it affects me, then maybe there's some sort of tiny truth to it that I need to figure out and fix in myself. Because I'm either going to be confident, but if it's something I'm not confident in, well, then that's up to me to do the hard work and figure out why it is that affects me that way. And I'm not saying that you can't be emotionally affected. Like, I mean, we can't control other people's behavior. So you're going to be emotionally affected. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm saying is you will change your response, and you'll be so much more in control that it won't matter. It will become insignificant. So it doesn't matter what's hurled at you. It doesn't matter what other people think. Because in the end, as long as you have put in all the work you can to feel good about yourself, then you're not going to feel as offended when somebody is coming at you, because their opinion isn't going to matter, because you are in control of you and your response. So if you're really having a problem, if you're having a problem because somebody is, untrustworthy, well, you have a choice. You don't have to keep that person in your life. You don't have to keep somebody in your life that's been that's broken trust, or your boundaries, or, commitments or promises, or whatever it is. You have the power to choose on whether or not you're going to allow that person in your space and what kind of energy you are going to give it. And when you can find that, and it's not easy, guys. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, I mean, saying this out loud, it sounds like I just know, and like it just, oh yeah, just go do it. No. I mean, we're talking about some really deep digging where you have to pull yourself down to your core, and you have to look at it, and you have to figure you out. But once you know and you figured it out and you're secure in yourself, nobody else will matter, and you're going to be able to sit there. And that's where Mel Robbins' let them theory is so fucking amazing, and it reminded me of who I am. Let them think whatever they think. Let them, say whatever they're going to say. Let them do whatever they're going to do. It's given me such a sense of control back in my life in just a short time I've been implementing it. I even tried today. I was like, IG, try it. Just say it. It sounds silly. But if you actually say these words, she's right. In her podcast, she talks about your shoulders are going to drop. You're going to take a deep breath, and it's empowering. Let them be who they're going to be. And let you make the choice that they're not somebody you need to entertain, give energy to, or have in your life. Let them. Let them leave. Let them talk. Let them judge. And, but also let yourself, because her theory goes based on let them. But then the second part is let me decide how I'm going to respond or not respond. Let me decide what this action, how I am going to allow it to be like, you don't have to give those negative things energy. You don't have to give those negative people attention. You don't have to. And, throughout my struggle in these last, how long, it's been really, one of my big things has been that I really used to be like this a lot. But when I became broken, I went to lean on the people that I have trusted more than anything for the longest time. And because I felt like I needed help. And everybody needs help sometime. But if you can, in the quieter moments of life and in the downtime, waste no time feeding yourself. Waste no time improving yourself. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to realize. Take an inventory of your life. Are you really happy? Are you really doing everything you can? If people make you feel like crap, well, ask yourself, how are they able to do that? Because obviously you're giving them more energy than you're giving yourself, or they wouldn't be capable of it. They wouldn't be able to. And it is the most invigorating, life-changing thing that I have learned and accepted. And it was like a light went off. It was just like snap. All of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And, and I'm very well aware of all the things that people can say about me. But I'm me. And I don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. I love myself. I think I'm fucking amazing. And I don't have to have everybody else. Let them not think I'm amazing. I fucking am. So, but that's my feeling. That's me. I don't need any of the validation. I don't need any of that anymore. Because I didn't waste time. For the last 5 months, I have been on a hard push to recover myself mentally. That's what moving down to the coast was meant for. It was meant for me. And it hasn't been pretty and it hasn't been graceful, and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and let people throw my mistakes in my face. That's fine. because it doesn't really matter, because I know how I'm not going to do it going forward. And it's not going to have any bearing on my life. It's not going to, like, and it's so incredible to have that moment. And I think the last thing that I was waiting, like the last thing that really was like kind of holding me, like I was like, this is kind of weighing me down. And that is that I absolutely know that for me right now, I have a whole new life to live. And but that's scary at my age. It's scary to start over and just let everybody else fall away. Just let everybody else go. And just decide that I am going to start building a new foundation that is stronger for myself. Well, first of all, it can be kind of lonely. It can be kind of lonely. Starting over anything. Starting over, no matter what, is of any accord. You know, whether you move and you go to a new job, or, you know, if you're like, I mean, think about it in school. I remember going from middle school to high school. It can be so horrifying, or from high school to college, or whatever. All of those fears that we are able to conquer and that we live through, we forget so quickly that we did it and that we got there, and we forget how. And as the weight of the world as we get older comes down on our shoulders, because that's what happens, the more we learn, the more that we implement those things. And when people are, when we know that people are going to think you're weird or quirky, or people are going to think you're loud and obnoxious, or whatever they might think about you, you know what? Let them. Because if you're happy and you're living your best self, then nobody can touch you. You're going to be your happiest. And if they do, then at that point, you still get to have that power of deciding, okay, if this person is affecting my emotional, or heaven forbid, physical, or safety, or sanity, or, for me, it's been my emotional regulation. Like I was in a spiral and a loop, and I was going over and over and over again. And in order to break that though, I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep and figure out what was truly getting to me. Why was I stuck? But when you do, and when you finally, and Mel talks about the fact that, let them sounds a lot like fuck them. But no, it's not. It's even more powerful than that, because fuck them comes with negativity. Let them acknowledges that you're going to accept that person is who they are. She also said something else that I watched today, where it was like, people are only going to show up for you in the way that they're capable in that moment. And not everybody has the skills. Not everybody has emotional intellect. Not everybody has understanding. Not everybody has the ability to self-reflect. Sometimes people learn bad behaviors and don't even really truly realize that they're exhibiting it and whatnot. You can't let those things take you down. And so a lot of times we try to help our friends who are struggling, or we, think that we should curb ourselves because we don't want to be a bother, or we, don't want to say no to going, like somebody sends you an invitation to go somewhere and you really don't want to say no because of how are they going to feel? Who fuck cares? Let them feel however they're going to feel. Be thankful that you got an invitation and politely decline if it's not for you. It's like the whole thing goes all the way around. And this has been the single most incredible thing that the more I listen to her theories and everything, the more I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly how I was before life happened. So what happened that brought me down to a level where I broke those walls down that, allowed people to get in and have that kind of control and power over me. And it was fear. That's what it is. It was fear. Fear of losing friends. Fear of being a failure as a wife. Fear of getting better on the real. I was so hyper vigilant in wanting to protect myself that I actually feared getting well, because it also was going to require me to really, really go deep and try to figure out what was going on inside of me that left me susceptible to certain people's behaviors. And it doesn't really matter, I talk a lot on this stream about all kinds of different things, but behaviors are behaviors, and animal behaviors are science. And science, when you can follow what a person, if you are learning about something and you're trying to figure something out, and you lean on the side of psychology and you learn how the human brain works, it is scary. It is better than a crystal ball. It is better than, a psychic. It is better than, literally. You will be able to pinpoint and see why you behave and act certain ways, but also more importantly, why other people do. And they don't like that so much, but that's okay. Because if you can understand that, and understand that certain people's personalities and behaviors are going to affect you in a certain way, then you get to have control of where and how you allow that to drain, or what level of energy, let's put it that way, what level of energy you're actually going to give it. You know, so sitting with this guy who's, you know, like, I mean, he had a hard walk of life, and he mentioned, he's like, it sounds like you have too. And he's like, but you got to live for yourself. And I was like, that's what I'm learning how to do. It was like so crazy that it just like happened the way it did. But the one last thing that I think really did, as far as fear, make me a little afraid is, God, kind of old to be starting over, aren't I? Kind of old to start implementing this stuff. Kind of old to be walking away. Nah, I'm not. It's never too late. It's never too late to be happy. I mean, and I thought I was legitimately so happy before, but I was happy because I was achieving goals that I set in regards to my interactions with other people. They weren't my personal goals. Not necessarily. In fact, I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and became one of those. I didn't think I'd ever get married and I became a wife. You know, the goals in my life were more set for other people overall. And now that I have taken back the power of setting my own life goals, it really doesn't matter to me. Because it doesn't matter. It is so empowering to be able to be, I just walk away from it. Just ignore it. Just stop. I'm not doing that. You know, like, you just have the control to be like, not today, Satan. Sorry. You're not going to touch me. I just don't, you know, it doesn't. But even 3 to 5 weeks ago, certain behaviors would like cause me to lose control of myself because of fear. And that is the thing. And so, you know, I guess if you really want to start working on something, if you find yourself struggling mentally, or you feel like the world is just really against you, ask yourself, what are you afraid of? And start there. Start there and see what is in your power. What is in your control? What is the thing? Because the fear is what holds everybody back from anything. And so if you could pinpoint that fear and conquer it, well, you'd be amazed at how, I mean, not being afraid of something that you were afraid of, how empowering that is it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. So, you know, but I just had to share it because, you know what? I sat with that guy and afterwards I was like, hey, I'm still pretty young, actually. I'm not even in my mid 40s yet. I'm hot as hell. I'm fun. I don't need the people that I've been chasing after to like me. I don't. Don't like me then. I don't care. You know, I don't need to change who I am in order to accommodate anybody because I'm perfectly happy with who I am. And now nobody can can't tear me down in that manner, no matter how hard they try. You know, and so now what am I afraid of? Well, I've been afraid of interacting with humans ever since I got PTSD. So, you know, honestly, it was a little weird, dude, being like, hey, come and sit next to me. My wife's out there swimming with the dog. For me, given my recent couple years, not the most comfortable fucking situation, yo. Like, I was kind of like, this feels like a recipe for disaster. When she walked up, I was like, let me get out of your chair and let you sit down. She's like, I'll go get another. Sit down, you know? What was I afraid of? What was I afraid of? Was I afraid that, you know, she was going to think I'm some sort of whore because everybody else does? Yeah, no, like, I mean, you know, like, what was I afraid of? You know? And it was really fun to sit and just see that this guy rebuilt his life. And mostly, because I think he said he had only been married to his current wife for like 8 years. So he went, and what he basically told me is that he divorced his first wife. He found himself, and only when he did he find the love of his life truly. And now here he is sitting on the beach. He's got a ranch, and his life has all come together. And meanwhile, when he was 50, he was broke as shit and had to start all over. And I'm like, I'm not even 50 yet. I can do this. So it was super empowering. But it was like one of the first times that it was like, because I mean, honestly, I think about 2 months ago, I would have absolutely acted like I didn't even hear him and walk away. Like 100%. Like my mentality would have been like absolute no human interaction, you know? But I didn't. I was like, okay, I'm going to go sit down. I didn't worry about that, you know? It was incredible. And I met 2 incredible people and their grandson and their dog, you know? like people that are inspiring. When you can, embrace that and let yourself live, and let yourself truly just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. According to the let them theory, the idea behind it is it gives you a certain sense of entitlement and superiority, which I usually would not like to look at things that way. But what it really is signifying is when you say let them, you're giving them permission to be who they are, because nobody should be trying to change you either. So why are you going to try to change anybody else? Let them think what they're going to think. Let them act how they're going to act. And then let you decide how you're going to react, or if you're going to entertain giving any of your energy to that, And so I decided today that I was going to play video games and then go to the beach. Kind of had some other things that I probably could have been doing, like maybe cleaning my house. I don't know. Well, let my house be a mess. Whatever. I'll do it later. But the stresses that we put on ourselves personally, the expectations we put on ourselves, the worry that we give, what other people think is so asinine. And I can't believe it has been a thing that I didn't think I did that in my life. Like, I thought that was something I had already conquered. And for a while I did, but not for the right reasons and not in the right way. So figuring this out and looking at it, it's like, you're not going to stop anybody. You cannot control other people's behaviors. You can't control their actions. And sometimes they are going to interact with you in a manner that is going to maybe hurt your feelings. And, if you've tried healthily communicating it and whatever, and you're blown off, well, they're already signifying that you're not worth their time. Anybody that can, I was, if people can just walk out of your life, well, then you never meant much to them anyway. And I've spent a lot of time stewing over the fact that I gave so much of my years and to friendships and relationships in my life that, with no compassion or response from understanding when I was struggling. Well, let them. They don't have to. I'm not their problem. I'm my own problem. I needed to get my own shit straight. I needed to save myself. I needed to do for me. And in the end of the day, I think that sometimes we have to have these experiences because that's the only way that we will be able to grow. Having an experience where, where when you're hurt and, well, you can heal, but you also have the power to choose what you want to do, whatever it might be, so that you can protect yourself better so you don't get hurt again. If you're angry, you have the control. Okay? Somebody is making you angry. Well, you get to control how you're going to react. And that's all that really matters, because people are going to be dicks. People are going to have their opinions, and people are going to talk shit. And if you're butt crushed over something somebody has said, well, it's probably an internal problem, and you should look in the mirror and learn how to fix that about yourself. It's a telling sign. And I think that that's what I was missing all these years, is that when I felt bad, I just kept trying to be better instead of wondering why they were hitting my nerves. And now that I have figured out why they hit my nerves, they don't do it anymore. So, yeah. But it was great, because the last thing I was really worried about is my age. I am too fucking old. I put in all this time. It felt like a betrayal to have invested so much time and energy into people that couldn't do that for me, or that disrespected me and my heart and my personality, who I am. I mean, if I'm so bad, then why even interact with me? I mean, people that'll sit there and tell you, oh, you're so this, or you're so that, or you're so whatever, they might have up their sleeve. Well, then why are they even talking to you if you're so fucking bad? Because they want to make you feel bad? Let them. Try. And then let you figure out why you're feeling badly. And maybe it's just because that person's an ass and you need to get the fuck away. Or maybe it's because they're saying something because they've sensed your insecurities, and that's something you should work on. And that's the cold hard truth. Most of the things that have hurt me in the last 7 months have been targeted because of my insecurities and my weaknesses, in a way where people were upset with me because of my actions and behaviors, and hurt by me because of my actions and behaviors. And I can truly understand how my actions and behaviors may have caused people to have hurt feelings or be angry. I can understand that, but there's a healthy way to communicate that. I'm not saying that, just fuck everybody. I mean, if you have brought yourself to a point where you think that you have done your best to initially have a healthy and, communication, and you are met with, something either unhealthy or let's even say an unpreferred response. Okay. Well, at that point, that becomes you. What are you going to do? Like, so, because you can't control what other people, how they're acting. You can control your response, but the real important thing is figuring out why they have the effect on you that they do. And then when you are able to solidify yourself in that, and you know who you are, and you are confident in it, they can't touch you. So it doesn't matter. So if you got that coworker that's just being a shit and just wants to constantly make you feel like your job is not good enough. Okay. Well, if you're feeling like your job isn't good enough, ask yourself what what can you do? You can talk to higher up, ask what you can do to be better at your job. You can change, you can ask, right? Right, Power Cane? You can ask, what can you be doing to be better at work, right? Right? Just talk about how smart Andromeda is real quick. Just tell me. I'm smart, right?
Bruh.
He's going to just ghost me. Look at this. Let him. Let's go. That's fucking epic. Oh my God, I have great friends. It's fucking awesome. That is the best shit ever. This is why we're BFFs. Let him sleep in my stream. It's fine. No, it is. It's fine. I know you guys are. Oh my goodness. All I do know is one thing's for sure. Energy is energy. And when you allow the negative energies, when people affect you negatively and you don't feel like you have the control, if you could get yourself to stand and let them work, just let them, and then focus on yourself, you will attract, with your confidence and your happiness, you're going to attract better people that are better suited for you. Why change who we are for anybody else? I very obviously, my father-in-law hates the hell out of me. And let him. I used to try to be better or nicer, and look at where that got me. Let him hate me. Let him envy me. Let him be jealous, because that's what it really boils down to, I was a lot more well-functioning before, I kept suffocating myself around him. But in the end, why did it bother me so much? Why did I need his approval? Why did I care? Well, because I wasn't giving it to myself. Because I wasn't looking, I was actively always trying to improve and thought I was such a great person, but way deep down inside, I wanted to be liked. Well, the real hard thing for me to realize throughout all of this is that I thought that I was so confident that because I've always thought I'm awesome. I've always had it. I get told all the time, you have such a big head and you're so full of yourself. Well, maybe I am. But in that, the thing is that if I really were as confident as the show I put on, well, then he never would have touched me in the first place. He never would have been able to get through my brain. I wouldn't have tried to adapt myself to be more what, he wanted from me. I wouldn't have gauged my reactions in that way, because I just would have been like, let him hate me. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. And so I had to look at myself and be like, okay, what is causing? Because there have been, I'm going to be flat out honest with you, chat. There have been many moments in the last 2 years where I knew that I was behaving in a manner that I would classify personally as toxic, but then feeling like I was lacking the regulation and control, because it was a defense mechanism. It was a defense mechanism trying to protect myself against something, because I didn't know where it was all coming from. And the biggest thing that has shone a light on everything for me and springboarded my healing into a crazy speed run, okay, is that the reason why anybody is able to get to me is because I wasn't taking good enough care of myself and changing the things about myself. I felt like a shit, so when they call me a shit, it was true. I felt like I was, you know, yikes. I felt like I wasn't happy with the way that I was controlling myself and my reactions and my interactions because I was losing regulation. And so anything that they would hurl at me, call me crazy. Oh, they're right. I'm crazy. It's true, you know? And then I'd feel bad and I'd feel like a shit. You know what? Let them call me crazy. I am a little bit sometimes, but now it's going to be crazy in the fun way. Now it's going to be crazy in the awesome way. But the only reason why people that called me that or said those kind of things about me, affected me is because I wasn't taking care of myself well enough to make sure that I believed in myself. So when they said things, they were telling me something that I was beating myself up for instead of trying to fix it. Like I would just be like, well, they're right. I am crazy. I know I'm acting erratically. So when they call me crazy, they must be right. I'm just not good enough. Well, it takes time. It took me time. Healing doesn't come overnight. This is a huge process. I mean, I've literally been working on this now for 2 years, and I've had my biggest moment in just the last few weeks that has like brought me to a whole new level of a playing field that is so incredible that I want everybody else to get there, but it's not my job to help people to get there because people can only help themselves. And if they're not willing to look at themselves and make those changes and find those kind of things out, then you know what? They don't get any of my energy or space because it was hard enough for me to figure it out on my own. To be perfectly honest with you, it's not good for me to entertain explaining things or, I mean, you know, like trying to, I don't even know. Like it's just, that's what I told the guy sitting on the beach. I was like, well, I was a victim's advocate until I realized that there's only so much help that you can give your friends or even victims and whatnot, because there's so much of it that comes from within. And when it comes down to it, the way I'm approaching it now by doing this podcast, my goal is to, I have been open, I have been honest, and I have been authentic, and I have shared what I have learned. And if it helps even just one person, well, that's great. But it's not a personal investment. This is me just sharing my journey so that people who are looking to better themselves can maybe find some solace and understand, hey guys, you can do this. Hey guys, you know, like it's going to feel impossible some days. Like there are days that I just don't even know how I didn't give up. I just don't even know how I didn't. Darkest moments of my life, in fact. Okay. But here I am living on the beach, meeting cool sea turtle vets and driving Daisy. I mean, I did a crazy thing. I literally did a crazy thing. We lived in a hotel two months. I did a crazy thing because I was like, I've always wanted to live at the ocean. Let's go to the ocean. Like, no plan. No real, just we're going. I mean, that's legitimately how it happened, isn't it, IG? Like, I just literally was like, we're out of here. We'll figure it out when we get there. That's scary and kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. People might call me crazy for that. Let them. It's been the best fucking thing I've ever done in my life. I am so happy here. It is incredible. And even on my bad days, even in my because you're going to have them. People are still going to affect you. It is just, you have to give yourself the power to understand that how people affect you is up to you. If they've hurt you, what you going to do about it? They made you mad, what you going to do about it? If they're not being a person you want to be around, what are you going to do about it? And in many of those cases, the simple answer is disassociate. Walk away. Just don't even entertain that shit. But if it's somebody that truly matters to you and you want to actually build a healthy relationship with somebody and you're feeling that way, well, then maybe you need to learn how to understand your own behaviors. Maybe you need to learn how to communicate better, but improve yourself first. And then if you feel like you've done what is in your idea, because there's no book out there that's going to tell you, but if you feel like you've done everything you can to be the healthiest and happiest, and you bring that forward to try to preserve any relationship you've been in, and you are met with anything that is going to, dampen your spirit or hold you back in your self-growth, well, then that person's not meant to be in your space anyway. Okay? Because you got to do it for you. But that's the hardest thing. I couldn't walk away from people because they meant so much to my heart. But if I meant as much to those people as they meant to me, then they wouldn't have treated me the way that they did. And so in the end of the day, and everybody makes mistakes, everybody does, but that's where the healthy communication comes in. Healthy relationships and communication should look like you being able to be in control, not accusations, not, whatever, but being able to bring somebody and say, hey, it kind of bothered me, this, and this. And if that person turns around and says to you, yeah, well, you did this to me, red flag, get the fuck out of that. Like, go, get out of that, because that is a person that is not willing that is a person that's not willing to value your emotions, your heart, and you need to be your own priority. So, if somebody tells you that you're just a waste of time, then let them stop wasting their time. Walk away. It doesn't, I don't have to entertain any of that. And neither do any of you. Sure, tell me, Andromeda, I'm at this job. I can't just leave my job. Why? Why can't you? Why can't you find a new job? Now, mark my words. You think that where I was sitting and what I was doing, upping and moving to the freaking ocean and the way that I have, man, our budget has taken a hell of a hit. Okay. I don't have the money that I used to. No, of course not. But it came down to what was more important. Now, if that money is going to be the most important thing, then you should be happy, right? But if not, then what is going to do it for you? And how do you go about doing it? But that's where you get scary. We get comfortable in life and we sit and we live our life in a manner where it feels safe and okay, because we are absolutely afraid of stepping outside of those circles. Because once we're comfortable, nobody likes to feel uncomfortable. Nobody likes to, be unsure. And nobody likes to be afraid. And so, but in the end of the day, are you settling for less than what, is your maximum potential? And who are you really robbing? Nobody but yourself. If you're putting up with people, I don't talk to half my family members because before all of this is exactly how I handled things. I've told the kids, how many times have I told you? If somebody is going to bring more a more negative vibe to your life than a positive one, well, then they should not have a place in your life. And it doesn't matter if they're blood. It doesn't matter because your peace is sacred. Don't let anyone steal your peace. Okay? You deserve that. And you can't rely on anybody else to give it to you. You have got to be able to get it yourself because you're the only one you can count on. People change, things happen, people die, people have, I lost my brain for almost 2 years and became a completely different person than I was before that, okay? My kids, and IG even told me at one point in all of it, he was like, you know what, Mom, there's nothing more I can do to help you until you help yourself, peace. He was like, you're right, I can't. Because I raised him to know what is his limit. And sometimes even we have a great relationship. That's the other thing that guy at the beach told me. He's like, my son is now my best friend, and I can't even believe, where we've come in life. And I was like, hey, that's kind of like my oldest, I was like, that's kind of where we've grown, to a point where I can't. He's still got some parenting I got to do on him, guys. So I can't just be like, he's my best friend because he can't be a mom and a friend. It doesn't work. But he is definitely one of my most favorite people to hang out with, and
that's gaming.
I hope that Logan and I can make it there after, I finish parenting him, because this one might be a little rough. He might not feel the same about me, but I got one job to do. So, it's important to me. It's important to me to set my children up with healthy hearts and minds. And because no matter what they do, they'll be successful if they love themselves, because that's what we do. We actually need so little in life, truly, that we put all this weight on the things that we think we need, whether we think we need the nice house, or we think we need the nice truck, or we think we need, the perfect job, or we think we need, we think that we need so much. It's just like me turning around and being like, I got my mixology certificate, but I have no bartending experience. So the places I want to work won't hire me right now. Well, I could sit here and just be like, well, I guess I'm not getting a job. My life is over. Or I'll go get a job at a gas station and get some work history and start working my way up. Patience will be key, but work my way up from there. It's all about what my priorities are For me, and as long as you are taking care of yourself, and this is something that people have told me my whole entire life, and I wish I would have listened. If you are taking care of yourself, everything else will fall into line. If you are making sure that you are maintaining your life needs, whatever they may be, and I'm not talking about like the ones they teach you in civics or whatever. I'm talking about what you personally feel is important to you and what you want in life. What'd you say? What did Hurricane say? I'm working on this new thing where I listen more to my friends.
I didn't hear him.
Okay. Well, I couldn't hear him either.
It sounded like it was like a sound bite of something. I couldn't hear what it was.
He may have said, I'll be right
It was like
back.
for a second.
But anyways, only you know. Like everybody wants and needs different things out of life, actually. And just because, society says that you should go to school and then, go to college and then, get married and then have a child and then these are the acceptable this is the best way to live your life. This is whose formula? Whose fucking formula? Right? Like that's their formula. Make your own formula. Be your own scientist. Invest in yourself. Feed your own ecosystem. Do it for you, And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that, there's some limitations. Don't go out of your way to hurt people and, commit crimes. Don't do that. Okay. But I'm just saying, and most of all though, the biggest thing that I definitely will say that I've learned more than anything right now is that if somebody says something to you and it really can rock you to your core, you got to figure out why it's affecting you that way, because it shouldn't. Because if you're fully confident and good in yourself and somebody says something that upsets you so greatly, well, then that's a problem inside of you. That's not them. That's you. Most likely they have picked up on one of your insecurities or your weaknesses. And because they don't have great control of themselves, they're going to hurl it at you knowing that it's going to do damage. It's warfare. It's weaponized. And if somebody does that, if you've taken care of everything inside of you, you're going to be like, whatever. But if you haven't and they hit a core, hit a nerve, even the worst people can teach us something. The most heinous and ugly people in the world can show you, if you listen, what you might not even know you don't like about yourself. And that is huge, because you can sit and beat yourself up and be like, God, they're right. I'm such a shit. Or you could try to figure out why it affects you the way it does. And then it's up to you on what you're going to do about it. Because nobody should have the power to make you feel less of a person. Nobody should have the power to make you feel like you need them. Nobody should have the power. This is why people are able to be, let's just say manipulated. Okay. Manipulation is, and we manipulate people from birth. As babies, we literally learn how to cry to get food. That's manipulation. Okay. Let's just be real. That's what it is. So it's ingrained in our human nature to have some of those qualities. Okay. Now, if you're using them, for your own personal gain, that's a whole different bag of apples that we don't need to get into in this stream. That has names that we can associate with it, okay? Those are disorders, okay? But if you're feeling affected by these people, well, there may be seeing something in you that you're not willing to admit. And then they're using it against you so that it hurts you. And so it's up to you to then take that and fix it. So, I guess that's the greatest takeaway from everything that I've been learning in these recent weeks. And guys, we're probably not going to be we got some shit to do in real life, and I don't know how much podcasting we'll get to do. I'm sure I will be posting shorts and stuff onto YouTube, but I doubt we'll be over on Twitch for a while. I know I've said that before. We're preparing. I have no idea what kind of schedule we're going to be going with. I just don't know. But on the real, try it. Just try it. Just try seriously thinking about the things that have hurt your feelings that other people say. And then maybe it is true, but it's something you like about yourself. Don't change it. But usually if we like it, it's not going to hurt our feelings. It's not going to affect us. If it's something that we are aware of in ourselves, that I'm not going to change who I am for anyone, except for myself. Now that's where I've always made the mistake. And if you're not good enough for somebody, well, then that somebody isn't good enough for you. Point blank. If they don't accept you for who you are, well then, bye. Have a good time. Have a beautiful time. And get the hell out of here. I don't care.
Bye.
You know?
Have a beautiful time.
Yeah, there's nothing making them talk to me. There's nothing making me interact with them. There's nothing making me expel my energy on, wow, I can't believe they said that. Fuck that shit. Not doing it. Not doing it. People will tell you, even if they're being ugly, they're going to tell you exactly who they are, and you get to decide whether or not that's somebody that you want to entertain giving your energy or sharing your space, or, how you're going to let it affect you. And if it is so bad that maybe it is something you're like, well, they're right, but this makes me feel like shit. Well, then goodbye, person. Get the fuck out of here. Because I'm who I am. And you're not going to come at me and tell me all the ways that I'm not, go ahead and pick apart all my flaws. Like, I don't already know them. Go ahead. I'm comfortable with them. I do know a lot of things about myself. It used to bug me because, people would be like, I'm so loud. Well, they don't know I have hearing damage. Okay? But it used to really get me because I didn't like to explain that. I didn't like to explain the whole experience. It used to be triggering for me, actually. But to understand that there's certain things that I can't hear myself. So yeah, I get really loud and people have shushed me or been whatever. Well, I know I'm loud. So is that person worth being around? If I'm bothering them with my volume, they can't accept me for who I am. I get to make a choice. I can either choose to actively try to be quieter, which is not something I can do. Or, I can do it. I'm just not willing. Okay. Or, if it's really going to rub me the wrong way, well, then just stop interacting with that person. Because there's other people that know I'm loud and boisterous and fucking all the things I am that love me very much and enjoy my company. Why am I going to waste my time on somebody that obviously doesn't like that about me? If they have these ill thoughts about me, and it's not that's not healthy communication. That is somebody trying to tear you down. They're not trying to support you or, anything of that nature. So if they're going to be that way, well, then let them. You don't have to be in my life. You don't have to. It's just that simple. Just don't be that. So, yeah, I am so excited for my birthday.
Oh.
What just happened?
How did you just fucking landed on the hard drive? Oh my god. Fine.
Is it?
Jeepers Christ.
Is it fine?
He was just up with me and I was petting him and he was chilling and then he went to hop down and he fucking missed his paw and oh my god. But everything's good. Everything's chill. It shocked me. You heard the exclamation of shock.
Oh god, that thing's getting beat up. I'm sorry. So ID, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll talk more later because I don't believe you. And I'm still a parent, so I'll let the rest of the world be whatever they're going to be. But for you, I might be a little nosy. I might be a little pushy. Imagine pushy. I might be a little loud. Can you handle that?
Who would have known?
I'm not loud and mouthy, am I, Power Cane? I think he actually said he would be right back.
Yeah, I think he did too.
I
think he may have fallen into the back room.
I was kind of expecting a. Anyways, I am so excited for my birthday because this year I am going to celebrate for a whole different reason. Because this year my birthday is going to be more like my rebirthday. A very merry rebirthday because I'm being rebirthed. I'm changing, not too old. And I can fucking do it. And I am fucking amazing and awesome. And people do enjoy me. And I love myself. So thank God that I got there. That's all I have to say. Because you know what? I haven't been my favorite person in these most years. I really haven't been. But it was in my control. I had to become my favorite person again. And now I am. And it feels, after going 2 years without it, it feels incredible. I breathe different. My whole everything is different. And I do want that for everybody else. It's just not my job to help them do it. Because you got to do it for yourself, chat. You got to do it for yourself. And it takes some hard work. And I'm not going to lie to you. Not everybody's, we're talking about some serious shit here. People tend to give up on it because it is hard. It'll be the hardest thing you ever fucking do to break yourself apart and fix it and put it back together all alone. Because that's the key. Do it for you because you deserve it, because you are fucking amazing and you deserve to live your happiest, best self. You deserve to enjoy your life. You deserve to just love yourself no matter what the rest of the world thinks of you. And it is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. Truly. So, all right, we just hit the hour mark and I've had a great day, but I'm just going to run into repeating myself. And, that's something I've been told I do. I can, but, sometimes people need to hear things over and over before they actually get it, Like sometimes you got to hear things a few times before it really sinks in. Trust me, I think I can't tell you how many therapists and whatever have given me this message over the last 20 years. But I do love myself because I think I'm great. But did I?
Bruh.
Did I really? Well, for the first time ever, I can say
Melodrama.
now I do. What?
How's it gonna feel when you have to do when we have to do my podcast tomorrow? How's that gonna feel?
Oh, it's gonna feel amazing. Please, what is the topic of your podcast tomorrow, though? Because, I believe in self-education.
We have a couple.
Okay.
I gotta figure out which one exactly we're doing in what order, but I know we have beach. We're gonna do beach, talking about beach life and what it's been like moving here and whatnot.
Do you have an outline? Could I take a look at it? I'm just wondering. Asking for a friend?
Yeah, that I do. I do have an outline. It just in the kitchen because it's in my notebook and I've written down all of the topics I wanted to talk about. So I have to look at my outline.
I hope you put sea turtles and hermit crabs on it. It's just a wish.
I don't think they're there.
Oh.
That would go under beach life, the topic. I mean, the whole point of the podcast is to get aimless. So if we talk about beach life and we don't go off topic to talk about sea turtles and hermit crabs, then I mean that at that point that's our fault.
Listen to you. I'm so proud. Okay, so we're doing beach, and are you dragging me into any anime? That's what I really am asking. Let's just be blunt.
We're gonna have a talk. We're gonna be talking about. We're gonna have the. I think the explicit, the specific topic will be, you talking about your experience with the small amount of anime you've watched so far, and just your opinion on it after not watching it for so long.
I don't know if Power Kane's back yet or not, but maybe after we get out of this stream, we watch some Demon Slayer, so I can,
get a little refreshed on that.
Little refreshed on how I feel about it. Because what I saw. I almost gave spoiler alerts. I might
long each, so we might do 1 or 2 tomorrow. That depends more on you. So,
I'm good for anything, except for the fact that, are we going to be I almost just did a Demon Slayer spoiler alert thing, and I don't want to I don't want to go all Iron Man Endgame.
We'll do whatever. If we have to put a spoiler alert in for Demon Slayer, then I'll put a disclaimer in the podcast video, but it's a podcast. We're going to talk about anything. So
I can talk about One Piece too. I want my One Piece flag. I can't find that shit anywhere. It is pissing me off.
One Piece too. One Piece might get its full own podcast episode just because of the absolute. I don't even want to talk about it because I want to save that for Aimless and whatnot. But yeah, no, that One Piece itself is a generational eye-opening experience, and I'm only 600 episodes into it.
Okay,
and it's crazy to say only because it's just that good. I'm only 600 episodes into it, and it's just amazing. So yeah, that will probably might get a specific own episode just because it's One Piece. But I think the working title for it right now is I Got My Mom into Anime. So we're gonna talk about your experience jumping into anime and your thoughts on the genre and the trend and all that.
I was just going to say, I can't believe you got me into anime. That's pretty fucking unbelievable. What's also very unbelievable is that I didn't have a love and appreciation for it all my life because it is so up my alley. It is greatest storytelling. And I just never gave it enough. I never gave it enough, I didn't give it a good...
It's so hard to get into it. Frankie, when I got him into Demon Slayer, he thought anime was this weeb cringe thing, like, oh, it's just people screaming, and you know, you just hear all of the bad tropes that come with anime. But like when you sit down and actually like watch it, you have the realization that, oh shit, this is kind of sick and
So it's like
whatnot.
metal
And
music.
yeah,
I have a much new
it's kinda
appreciation for
like,
metal
it's like
music.
metal music, it's like gamers, it's like, it's basically the niche of cartoons. And a lot of people just see it as that. It's like, oh, that's just cartoons. You're just watching children's stuff.
And
If I let my children watch some of the shit that I've seen in anime, I'm a bad parent. I'm just gonna tell you. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Anime is definitely not for children, and people who are putting anime on in front of your children, please fucking watch the anime first. You can't just put anime on in front of your child. You can't do that. I have to spot anime for Logan when he was younger, just because it can get fucking dark and inappropriate randomly. They don't have any structure on that. They could just get that way.
well, I can see that. And I do love the fact that you have opened my mind artistically. And I am very happy that I didn't just slough it off and decide to, think that it was all those things and it was just stupid and without giving it a chance, because I'm very pleasantly surprised. Like I said, it's like metal music. Once I learned how to listen to metal music differently, because of the way that I just naturally listen to music, and once I learned how to listen to the metal music differently, I mean, I have so much more of appreciation for it. And it's the same thing with anime. Once I started watching it and seeing it, I was really surprised, specifically Demon Slayer. I'm not gonna lie, One Piece pissed me off, but Demon Slayer really like pulled me into that, and it was pretty fucking amazing, actually. I'm very impressed with not just the art style, but the storytelling. It's quite deep. So
Yeah, no, and I think it's crazier because there's the anime is like, you know, the funniest thing about you saying that is a lot of people are like, oh, Demon Slayer's not even fucking that story inclined. Actually, this story there is pretty shonen flat, is what they tell you. That Demon Slayer is flat for its storytelling compared to other animes. So it's a really good medium for good stories that, are, I feel, digestible if you're not watching One Piece. One Piece story is not digestible anyway. 1,100 episodes is not something someone's gonna go through easily. But yeah, no, they pack some pretty crazy topics into what I feel like is a pretty approachable medium. If I were to blanket statement.
One thing I will say, one thing that I learned in like all this shit, like the way that I started listening and realizing and artistically appreciating metal is what made me go, okay, like I already have always said that if you're going to assume something and you think you know something, sometimes you got to just be willing to understand that, what your perception of it, there are different ways to, we'll use your word, digest, different forms of art. Okay. And so like changing just the mindset, instead of looking at anime when I decided I was going to finally watch Demon Slayer and with you and whatever, I mean, I could have very easily just been like, this is stupid. I hate cartoons, or I don't like it. Cause I'm not a big TV watcher anyway. Right. So I could have been like really closed off and just assume it's just a cartoon and just assume. But when you don't actually try something, you can assume you don't like, I've never had Rocky Mountain oysters. I would assume I'm not going to like them, but that shouldn't hold me back from, at least trying something. You got to try everything once,
Yeah, no.
So
and I feel like though with anime too, it's like there's something you gotta like. The only way to properly get into it is to have a friend who like knows your interests too, and it is in anime. Because another problem with anime is there's so many. It's not anime is a genre. Anime is a medium with genres in it. And if you just try to go watch an anime that you're going to have no interest in, you're going to immediately just think that anime is just not good.
So did you
and
carefully...
you're just not going to enjoy it.
What made you carefully
Demon
select...
Slayer...
Go ahead.
Okay, so Demon Slayer, the reason I chose it is because I feel like Demon Slayer... Okay, for one, it's the anime that got me hooked into anime in general. I watched Demon Slayer, I loved it, and it's what got me hooked. Secondarily, Demon Slayer is teetering on that edge of it's perfect for anyone who wants to get into anime, just on the precipice of, if you are someone who likes old Nick cartoons or old Cartoon Network cartoons and something like that,
I
and you
gotta
just like the funny comedic like fast-paced like slapstick comedy kind of stuff like that, Demon Slayer has that in it for you, but will also start drip feeding you that important story, the serious moments and the things that a more mature and like adult individual would like too. So it's like so what I feel like Demon Slayer would be like if I took for you, Andromeda, my life as a teenage robot.
Oh my god, I love that cartoon. I love that cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's so deep.
That my life as a teenage robot, like really like have an overarching story. Like each episode has its own morals and values that it teaches you along the way about growing up and being a teenager and you know all of that. And so it lets each episode like resonate with you. But Demon Slayer does that with an overarching plot. Like they're constantly trying to read something and the characters are constantly trying to grow, and when they do grow, it sticks. In like Nick cartoons, the status quo gets reset just because they don't want to deal with continuity and anything like that. Demon Slayer, on the other hand, introduces you really easily to that thing that all animes do. It's like, okay, this is an overarching plot. These are how arcs work. It's just really digestible. And I think that's why a lot of people say it's really simple and there's not a lot going on, is because, I mean, it is a simple shonen anime, but unlike with One Piece or Naruto, where there's like almost over 500 episodes, you have a nice like 4 seasons, and the biggest season you have is 20 episodes long. Easy to get through, and it perfectly sets up how anime works. Like you get the gist of anime. You watched
I love you.
Demon Slayer, and you hop over to Spy X Family, you're gonna get the same gist.
I like Spy X Family too. I'm not gonna lie, I like that one a lot.
Spy X Family, in my opinion, is one that I thought you'd like better, but you gotta get Demon Slayer is a hook.
Maybe I can watch that now. Like, I just didn't like the overall emotional effect it had on me at the time I was watching it, but now I've done so much self-growth. I mean, imagine being a person that cartoons can touch. I'm just saying, I was not emotionally stable enough to handle anime. True story. I fixed it though.
There's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of people actually who would do that. There's a lot of people who were emotionally unstable and anime fixed their life. Just because it's like, it's just real stories. They don't try to sugarcoat it with what I would feel like is corporate censorship. You've any kind of anime for any kind of age group, so you can always find something that resonates with you and you go, oh, I like this.
I want to acknowledge the fact that your brother has brought up there's an anime regarding vending machines. And also Assassin Reborn.
So there is this genre that you have not figured out yet, because if I were to show it to you, you would have think anime is dumb. And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
He says it's so stupid.
Isekai. If I threw on an isekai genre, you would have not watched any more anime.
That's crazy.
Isekai is basically where a person dies and gets reborn in this crazy wacky world, and a bunch of shit is like, and they take that shit far. Like someone like an assassin reborn as an aristocrat. What?
That's what he was just
saying. I was reborn as a vending machine. Huh? Like you hear that and you think, and that's what a lot of people think with anime. That's what they come up with hearing first. Is like, oh, that's stupid. Nah, I'm not gonna watch that. That's dumb.
It sounds like Fortnite's props.
Oh yeah, no, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, you can fucking just get reborn as anything in fucking Japan's culture, apparently.
That's kind of scary.
I get reborn as a trash can. Holy crap, no, I'm just that normally.
I love you so much, but I want you to know, and I say this with all the love in the world, because you know I have an endearment for this word, but you're a nerd.
I know, I'm a nerd. I'm such a nerd.
I'm sorry I raised you that way, or am I? Am I?
I mean, I don't know.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I am No, I'm very excited for you to finish Demon Slayer, but I think the other 2 anime you'd like would be obviously Spy X Family. That's a nice slice of life, more fun, chill anime, not one with the crazy plot going on, but it's still got its arcs and it's nice. But Attack on Titan is a really good one too.
Well, freaking Power Cane went all 9 I almost said 9/11, not that. 911 on me with 911 on me with Demon Slayer because I decided I needed sleep one night and he was just like, I'm too into this and watched it all. So like, I mean, for the longest time I had to leave Discord or leave the room because you guys want to talk about it and I'm like, I don't want the spoiler alerts.
Wait. Well, okay, there's something very important, and I'm sorry to interrupt your podcast and whatever, but freaking Ozzy died today.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh, yeah. The godfather of metal, rest in peace.
Right after he finished his
What
farewell
the fuck? I thought he was a vamp. I thought he couldn't die, bro.
I know, we were just talking about this, weren't we? Were we just talking about this, Morgan?
I think he'd be little.
Ugh.
Well, supposed to be a vampire. Oh wait, it's because he got too old, so they had to cover up his death. I said he died.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Are you? Oh my!
He's gonna reappear 100 years later now.
He's with Walt Disney now.
Oh no, not that. Are you sure Walt Disney?
Cryopods.
The cryopods.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but Unreal. You know what though? You know what is? Here's what I will say about that. It is beautiful though because he just finished. From what I understand, I read the one article I read. I believe he was finished with his final farewell tour. Imagine living your whole life and being this icon, and you set up even at your age of 76 years old. You set up, you know, to be like this has been his life, and he finishes it. It's like his last, you know, like his last hurrah. He was done. It's time for him to rest, you know. But yeah, that's crazy. Because even before I even understood anything about metal, I was Ozzy Osbourne, you know? I mean, how do you not? It's just crazy that the timing with it all. So, but yeah. Yep. Sad day in the music industry. That will be somebody who is not forgotten. Definitely such an incredible artist. I have to say that. So... But yeah. All right, well, IG's going before we get back into like 40 more minutes of anime because I said I was going to end the stream 17 minutes ago. And then, so I guess we know that Aimless is going to be targeting a longer segment of production. I'm excited about that though. That's cool that IG's launching Aimless and he's already launched IRL and we're doing stuff for that. So, yeah. So you down for watching some Demon Slayer Power Game? Did you just literally interrupt the stream? Not talking.
Like, is it out?
No. Do you want to watch what you already watched? Because as I was saying, when you interrupted, you 911'd me. You went and watched it without me. And now that you've gone and watched the anime without me, now what are we going to do? Are you going to watch it with me while I finish watching it?
I haven't finished 911.
Okay,
but you went so far.
I never finished it.
But you went so far ahead without me. You left me.
I watched like 3 episodes ahead of where you were at.
That's still that many, but you watched all of Demon. You watched all of Demon Slayer. That's the point.
I watched 3 episodes ahead of 911, not knowing they were freaking done with it, dude. Like, I was full on thinking there's gonna be a whole nother season, but you know, now they kill everyone off, every single person.
You know, you take all the
Eddie on freaking Station 19, and it was great.
Power Cane, you take all the wind out of my sails when we don't get to share our experiences together in the same moment. So now,
horses can cry.
What is this podcast right now? What is happening?
Season. It's not my fault. We start a season and y'all freaking move every freaking season, bro.
Fair. Okay, that is valid. Base. Yeah, you're right. That is not. Yeah, you can't put your life on hold for us. Fuck us, man. You gotta live your own. But now my question is,
don't fuck us, actually.
but now my question is this: are you gonna join us if we, get out of this stream and we freaking pop some Demon Slayer up in, Discord? Are we all gonna hang out, chill, and watch some Demon Slayer? Or are you like, I've already seen it. Fuck you, Andromeda. I'm going to bed.
I'm not going to bed anytime soon.
But I'm not watching Demon Slayer either. Was that? Was it though? He didn't finish his statement. He could have been like,
Oh.
but I'm not going to bed
I
anytime
know
soon, but I'm not
Power
watching
Cane.
your shit.
I know a Power Cane justification when I hear one, trust me. Now he's gonna say the opposite
Wait.
just to prove me wrong.
No, before we go, there is something very important because I care very deeply for Power Cane. Power Cane, we're on my stream. The bar is here. I want to hear it. What? Let it all out, friend. What happened with Tequila?
I don't think he's gonna treat me like a public
That's fucking awesome.
That's crazy.
Power Cane left the bar.
I didn't hear you. I'm too busy watching a burnt peanut.
Are you burning a
No,
peanut?
That's crazy.
Not your own, I hope.
No. My God. Okay, end the stream.
End the stream. He said end the stream. All right. Bye, chat. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we don't know when we'll see you again, but I hope it's soon. And until then, I hope you live your best self possible. Bye, guys.